CDF, the children of the Dasanach, the people who live on the shores of Lake Turkana, will not be able to go to school. The El Molos, the Sakuyes of Dabel. For those of us from the pastoralist communities, the marginalized, we feel that CDF is the fund that has arrived. When on just the span that 3 judges can sit at the bench and say this is unconstitutional. Unconstitutional to who? CDF is about the people of this country. If there are no people, then there's no constitution. What does the constitution serve? Madam Speaker, as a house, we have a duty. Our responsibility is to make laws for this country, and the best laws for that matter. And we must enact the laws for CDF, that it must be enacted in the Constitution, so that those judges must feel that the House has powers to do what is right for the people of this country. Madam Speaker, without CDF, 3/4 of the children of Marsabit today are not going to school. If no CDF, there will not be enough school in the pastoralist areas. But what the MPs have done is to think around, to think out of the box, to allow the people to settle and to allow schools to be put up. Education is the greatest equalizer. If no CDF, then there will be no that equality. For that reason, I agree and I accept what the honorable lawyers who represented us in court are saying. Let us move with the speed and enact the national government CDF in our constitution. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member for South Imenti, Honorable Shadrach Mwiti, who was actually the first this afternoon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Education is a pillar in this country, and for this country to prosper, education is very important. Secondly, Madam Speaker, security is vital to protect our people, and NGCDF is very critical for us to make education and security. Madam Speaker, I concur with my fellow honorable members that NGCDF is very important to be dispersed through the honorable members of this House. Madam Speaker, there is a perception, especially from the county government, that the members of the National Assembly don't utilize the funds in the right way. Madam Speaker, if you assess our constituencies, you'll find that most of the projects are done by the members of the National Assembly and not the county government. Madam Speaker, interference of the NCDF means crippling development in the constituencies, and also, Madam Speaker, it means bringing down the central government. The funds from the NCDF are from the central government, and there is no relationship between the NCDF and the funds in the central government. Madam Speaker, I support that the Act should be entrenched so that we can have the funds having disbursed or having no more interference in the future. Madam Speaker, it is frustrating when the legal fraternity is interfering with NCCDF, knowing very well that the children of this country, the bright students, and also the disadvantaged students are highly supported by the NCCDF. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Better North.
Madam
Then
Speaker,
after that, it's you, Honorable Oundo.
Madam Speaker, thank you. And CDF has played a very critical role when it comes to the marginalized areas, Madam Speaker. We have many constituencies, many areas in the Republic of Kenya which are extremely marginalized. Recently, Madam Speaker, I went to ensure a school which has mud-walled classrooms in my constituency last week to ensure we change the face of that school. And those photos, Madam Speaker, when I posted them on my social media, many Kenyans could not believe that we have such kind of schools in some of our constituencies. Without CDF, Madam Speaker, many children who are going through CBC curriculum will not be able to enjoy an environment where they can nurture their talent as far as CBC curriculum is concerned. We not only have such kind of primary schools at the moment in our constituencies, in marginalized areas, but we need to change the face of such kind of schools. If we don't have CDF, Madam Speaker, most of our communities, most of the children of the very poor in marginalized areas will remain disadvantaged, will remain in big problems, and they will not be able to achieve what they are supposed to achieve, because these are, in most of these marginalized areas, you'll find we have very bright kids who can go even to Afant through scholarship if they go through the training process, the schooling process in the most appropriate way. Madam Speaker, I want to rebuke the judgment which was made by the 3 judges. It's high time this House come up with the amendment of the Constitution so that we can entrench CDF in the Constitution, so that kids, children of the very poor can also be able to enjoy the education which other kids of the rich are enjoying. It can't be. It's only in academies where we have proper running atmosphere. Even in those areas, the kids of the very poor, they also deserve proper environment where they can nurture their talent, they can nurture their skills, and they can be children of the world. They can be able to work in every corner of our nation, not only of our nation, but every corner of the world. Madam Speaker, I support what the members have said, and we need to craft.
The Honorable Member for Funyula, Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to sincerely thank our colleagues who stood in for us during this long, odious battle to save the lives of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I attended the judgment that Friday, and we left with the heavy legs, heavy heart, and I can see my friend Droppings was here with him, and I sincerely felt that it was extremely unfair on the tone and the wording and the way the 3 judges dispensed of the matter. Honorable Speaker, I want to tell the people of Kenya very, very clearly. Number one, the import of the judgment was that a constituency is not a service delivery center. So it means essentially any person who votes in a constituency is simply a voting machine whose voice cannot be listened in the eyes of the judicial officers. They simply said, Honorable Speaker, they only recognize the counties. They do not recognize the constituencies. In their own words, they say that constituency is merely a center of representation, but it's not a center of service delivery. So therefore, people of Funyula constituents, for example, cannot come together and go anywhere and demand development. They'll be told by virtue of that judgment, you have no local standard, whether that's right or not, to demand any development. Honorable Speaker, I want to take the judges through history. We used to have rural district focused development. And Honorable Speaker, you saw the inequitable distribution of resources in this country. Up to now, Honorable Speaker, there are parts of this country, they have never seen piped water. There are many parts of this country, Honorable Speaker, if it wasn't for CDF, they will not even have a classroom in their constituencies. And we want to appeal to the judiciary. Do not live in ivory tower. Just come down here and realize how bad things are. Come down here and see the importance, the impact of NGCDF. Compare with the 12 or so years of devolution, and let's do a comparative analysis, Honorable Speaker. It does not require anybody to do anything. You simply have to appreciate. At times, the law judicial activism must be laced with public policy, public interest, Honorable Speaker. I want to urge our colleagues, time to lament is now gone. We must save the people of Kenya from these beast bodies in wherever they are. It's time.
The Honorable Member for Lamu East, Honorable Rueda Obo.
Asante Bispika. Nami nipate nafasi nizungumze kuhusu hii NGCDF. NGCDF kwa wengine, kwa maeneo bunge mengine, ndio pesa peke yake unatarajia. Kama tuseme kama Lamu East na constituencies na maeneo bunge mengine mengi ambao wametengwa. Hapa tukiangalia rekodi, ukiangalia mambo kama kwa mfano stima bunge hii katika mwaka uliopita pesa ya bajeti iliyopangwa, utaona eneo bunge la Lamu Mashariki imepewa milioni 4 na maeneo bunge mengine kuna eneo bunge moja limepewa milioni 450. Hii pesa ya CDF, NGCDF, ndio pesa ikitolewa hakuna ubabe. Kila eneo bunge limepata pesa yake, wanajipangia wale kulingana na na sheria inasema. Hivi sahihi pesa ikiletwa hapa national government, sisi itakuwa kwenda mbio, maeneo bunge mengine itabakishwa nyuma zaidi, tutatengwa zaidi. Kama haya ambao upande mwingine mbinu ya mambo yote ya serikali inafaa iende kama hivi inavyoenda NGCDF. Kama ni stima, ni ile finance bill walitupa, lakini mimi nilipenda sana kwa sababu ile ilikuwa inasema kila eneo bunge ipate milioni 50. Nilipenda kwa sababu hiyo, ili angalau tupate milioni 50 kila eneo bunge, na zile zinazobakia kama atakuzichezea msondo, kule kwetu kuna ngoma inaitwa msondo, wazichezee. Lakini angalau tumepata kitu ya kufuatilizia. Sasa hii NGCDF kuna kitu angalau eneo bunge inaweza tegemea, na huwa pia haitoshi mpaka tupate huku national government. Lakini ukiangalia zile za national government zinazoenda maeneo bunge yetu utasikitika. Mfano mzuri nimewapatia ni hiyo energy. Angalieni rekodi. Energy imekuwa kigawanywa vipi, na ambapo eneo bunge kama Lamu Mashariki haina hata inchi moja ya national grid. Lakini kama ilikuwa imefuata mtindo kama wa NGCDF, tukiwa na hakika kila mwaka tuna milioni 50, ingekuwa imesonga kitu kidogo. Sahihi tunasikitika na inatuuma sana, na hatujui anatulekeza wapi. Kwa sababu kama leo hivi ninavyokuambia, President alikuwa ametusaidia kwetu kwa sababu elimu iko chini, na madhara ya elimu kwetu yameonekana. Vijana wameonekana wakienda kule wanavyokwenda. Ikabidi tusomeshe walimu, tukapewa nafasi za kupewa kuandikwa kazi. Ikawa walimu wamepatikana ni 2 peke yake wa kutoka Lamu Mashariki. Ni hii NGCDF ilikuwa tuokoe, kwa sababu hii NGCDF sahihi wanasomeshwa.
Half a minute.
Sahihi walimu wako Islamic Teacher College, wako Shanzu, wako kila pahali, tunasomesha walimu 100 na hii NGCDF ndio isaidie. Hao wanaosoma watapeleka wapi? Ambapo leo hivi niko na pressure kubwa ndugu yake Nurdin, mkwe wake Nurdin ambao ni chairman wa board, amewafukuza huko kwa sababu ya kunipunish mimi, ili kwa nini sijakubali Ishakani na Dar es Salaam Point iende ijara. Hivi ninavyokuambia imehappen, wanafunzi wamefukuzwa kwa sababu sisi hatujalipa hiyo pesa. Sasa CDF ikitolewa, sisi tunaenda wapi?
The Honorable